You'll forgive me, Mr. Shelby, if I indulge a little. Please.
Think. That's what I do.
On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.
The answer's always yes.
I will have no limitations.
Welcome back to PBP, a Peaky Blinders podcast. I am Jamie G. The G stands for gold, not gypsy. And I'm back with the man with the razor blade hat, Magnum Mills, to discuss the final trailer for the upcoming Peaky Blinders movie titled The Immortal Man.
And if somehow you do not remember or know who Tommy Shelby is, I think that'll get cleared up quickly enough. Thank you for checking out PBP, a Peaky Blinders podcast. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff. Same place on the web, dudeswatchstuff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to hit the thumb.
Before we get started here, this is your spoiler warning. Just about everything in the world of Peaky Blinders is in fact fair game for discussion as we talk about the trailer. By order of PBB, consider yourself warned.
We have already discussed the teaser and kind of talked about where we stand in the world of Peaky Blinders. So if you haven't checked that out, feel free to do so. But we are going to get right into the trailer. This is Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, releasing theatrically March 6, 2026, releasing on Netflix March 20th, 2026, directed by Tom Harper, also directed the back half of Season 1, written by Stephen Knight, Toby Finlay, and Stephen Russell. Starring Cillian Murphy as Tommy Shelby, Sophie Rundle as Ada Thorne, Ned Dennehy as Charlie Strong, Ian Peck as Curly, Packy Lee as Johnny Dogs, Stephen Graham as Hayden Stagg, Ruby Ashbourne Circus as Agnes Shelby, Barry Keoghan as Duke Shelby, Tim Roth as John Beckett, and in unknown roles we still have Rebecca Ferguson and Jay Lycurgo. The plot synopsis is Birmingham, 1940. Amidst the chaos of World War II, Tommy Shelby is driven back from self-imposed exile to face his most destructive reckoning yet. With the future of the family and country at stake, Tommy must face his own demons and choose whether to confront his legacy or burn it to the ground. Jamie G, we are pumped for this one. We're about to discuss it, but first, I think we have a clip.
I'm looking for your son.
Who the fuck are you?
Everybody stay calm, because this man, ladies and gentlemen, is Tommy Shelby.
Who the fuck is Tommy Shelby?
Perhaps someone should explain to him who I am.
I think probably the worst kept secret here was that Barry Keoghan was probably going to be playing Duke Shelby. Do you think this makes sense here? I mean, we're coming back. There's not a lot of returning cast, and he was kind of just set up in the back half of season 6. You know, they're going with the recasting here. How do you feel about it? You like that they're setting the kind of the story around Tommy and his gypsy son here? Do you wish they'd gone another way? And does the recasting bother you at all?
I don't think it does. It's been so long. I don't know that it's a huge thing, and we didn't really get a ton of it. I'm okay with it here, and I do like if you remember, the show was he was always kind of steered back to this gypsy blood in him, right? So I kind of like that they're doing that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea here is we're supposed to get parallels, right? Like Tommy's looking at him like as how Tommy used to be when we started the series, right? Like that's the callback to like Peaky Blinders 1919. That's about roughly not that far from when we opened the series. So I think that's the idea here, right? Like Tommy has to confront like the mirror that is himself sort of deal. I mean, that's kind of standard trope here, but I think it makes sense. You have to kind of do something to bring him back, right? And I guess this is it. I mean, do you think that there's a lot of ways they can go with this, I guess. So I don't want to quite get into predictions yet, but he looks like a Shelby, right? Seems to look like a Shelby. He's got the look.
He definitely has got the look. And I have a feeling he's gonna make his own mark as a Shelby here. I'm pretty excited about it, honestly.
I mean, this seems like a flick where let him kind of chew the scenery a little bit, right? One of the best guys you can get for that is Tim Roth. I mean, casting Tim Roth as a Nazi, I think could be, again, Nazi's very, very bad, but Tim Roth as a Nazi, probably could be a real home run here because he can play that kind of just like really kind of twisted, like multi-level, like with a kind of like inner sinisterness here. So I'm really excited to see Tim Roth rip it up here. I know we're not getting, Arthur here probably, but if you had to get another big personality, you could do a lot worse than Tim Roth.
Yeah, and I think this just could be a role he really dives deep into, Edward Norton-ish of like American History X, but probably better. I'm really excited to see what his wiry energy brings to this. He looked good in there, looks younger. I'm excited to see what they do with him.
Yeah, I am too. What do you think about Rebecca Ferguson here? Like watching this, I've seen the trailer a couple times, and my two best guesses are that she's either Duke's mother, but I don't remember if she was supposed to die, or more likely, she works for the British government, something like that. Any idea on who she's playing?
Yeah, I think those are two pretty good guesses. The only thing I'll say is somebody who has influence over Tommy, maybe at least early on. But I think somebody who's got kind of his ear, and that's kind of maybe the story's going to be told through her eyes. Honestly, it wouldn't totally surprise me. I think it's going to be somebody who's got some influence here.
Are her and Tommy gonna wind up hooking up here? I mean, it's Tommy Shelby. He has a way with these things.
Yeah, I mean, pick a chick in this movie, and the money's on the fact that Tommy gets there.
Well, how about let's leave Ada out of this. So no Ada. This is not HBO. This is Netflix, so that's out of play.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll have a role for Ada here? I mean, she's really the only other kind of main returning, main cast member here. Do you think that she's going to get a significant role, or do you think she's just kind of going to be like our exposition machine and she brings Tommy back into it, something like that? Or do you think Ada will have a big role?
I'm not going to say big, but I do think she'll be involved. They kind of utilized her before to kind of get into this whole Nazi plot line, so it wouldn't totally shock me that they bring her back in some shape or form, but I don't know that it's going to be like a major role, but I do think she'll be involved.
Like, I think this is about 6 years or so have passed. Like, what do you think Tommy Shelby's been doing here? Is he just off like running a rare bookstore? Is he teaching school? Is he tending bar? What do you think Tommy Shelby's been up to?
I think he's been managing his demons, dude, and I don't know that mentally he's been healthy these last couple of years here. I'm really curious to see. I mean, the way they ended the final season, I mean, it was literally he could, who knows, dude. I get the feeling that like the life that we knew of Tommy Shelby is completely gone, and I think he's living in total recluse and just yeah, in his own head kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's doing something kind of very, small and menial that Tommy Shelby would have once looked as being like, beneath him or something of that nature. I mean, he could just be doing it straight gypsy style too in the wagon, but that's kind of what he went away from at the end of six. So I don't know if he would be going back to that. So I figure he's been at least in a society in some way. He's not out there completely isolated, but I don't know if it really matters. But like, what do you think the hook is here to bring him back? I mean, to me, it seems to be that maybe it is Duke. Like someone comes to him and be like, "Yo, Duke's about to like work with the Nazis or something." And the Shelbys were always very patriotic after coming off of World War One there. So I think that could maybe do it. Do you think maybe that's what brings him back, or is it something else?
I think it's just the rise of the Nazis and the fact of like maybe his family's at risk here and they need leadership and that kind of stuff. I think it's he's coming back to play the hero role in some way. I don't know that it's his, it might be his son's going down the wrong path, but I think it's more so like, look, the world is going down the wrong path.
The world needs Tommy Shelby. He gets the call
World
for
needs
the
Tommy
hero
Shelby.
here. I mean, maybe they do. I mean, Tommy Shelby has proven himself to be a force over the first 6 seasons of the show. And this looks pretty big, right? I mean, we get the coming back to basics. You're coming back to the garrison, coming back to Birmingham, but you also see what could be Nazi Germany and warplanes dropping bombs. Like, do you want the bigger scope here? Do you want this to kind of be a big movie, really almost more of a war movie, or would you rather see it be a little bit more contained into kind of, our local kind of Birmingham area?
Yeah, I'm going to give you the classic Jamie G, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And the reason why is I think it's that world is so fun in the local kind of Birmingham and you stay there. But I think what's driving the plot is this big overarching kind of global thing. And so I think you kind of sprinkle that in, but I don't think you make it the main thing. So I think there's a balance there, and that's what we kind of saw out of the last couple of seasons, and I'm hopeful that they continue to do that.
That's probably the right answer, and that in the trailer we see both things. I mean, you see people on trains and stuff blowing up, and then simpler scenes of back home. So that's probably what it will be. I'm very curious to see how they deploy it. And are you at all upset that they spoiled kind of this scene of Tommy coming back to the garrison? You know, you have to use something for the trailer, but I feel that could be just such a good one. You're worried at all that, like, did they leave it enough up in the air? Like, you get the idea, you think you know how this goes when that happens, but I don't know. I think it was good enough. It didn't spoil me too much, but I'm definitely looking forward to that moment. I'll say that.
Yeah, I am too. I think it'll be fine. I mean, there's a lot in there. You just I think it'll be all right. I'm not too worried about it.
All right, let's kind of just move into some light predictions here. How do you think it's going to work out with Duke? I mean, I think that's kind of the main thing here. It seems from based on the way the trailer shot, it looks like he's like, I don't really care. I'll side with anybody who's going to give me money or power here. So maybe he could be siding with the Germans. Do you think this is a case where him and Tommy could be on the opposite side for the whole flick? Or maybe one of those things where they start out kind of opposed and then obviously they're on the same side by the end?
Yeah, that's probably how it's going here. I think that's the general sense, but could be a curveball, but that's right now that's where I'm going.
Peaky was generally pretty good about that. I would give him credit. It would kind of take some balls to do that, but we've had some, some fallings out within the Shelbys before. I mean, that was a whole big part about season 6 with Michaels. So, there's a lot of ways they could go with that. How big of a role you think Hayden Stagg's going to have here? They brought Stephen Graham in just basically for an extended cameo in season 6. I'm guessing kind of to set this up. So I'm thinking he is going to have a pretty major role here. Like, he could be right up there, second, third most screen time, something like that, maybe even. What do you think, man? How big of a role do you think Hayden Stagg's going to have?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, I remember when he kind of was in the show, right? And we had super high hopes, and it was kind of like, that's it? That's all we got him for? That's all they used him for? So hopefully that was just kind of like a prequel of what's to come here. So for me, I'm definitely hopeful that it's second, third, fourth most screen time for sure. Within the top five, I think it's got to be.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna again, if you set all this up with Stephen Graham, you have an idea for it. I think you got to really kind of pull that trigger. So, and he's also done a bit with Netflix here, so they have a good relationship. Hopefully, they got the good contract. Make sure they had him for enough time to get it done. We talked about this a little bit on the teaser, but we'll just make it official here. You think we're getting any kind of blast from the past cameos? Is Arthur showing up at all? Like, out picture doesn't count. Like, or is Arthur showing up on screen?
Uh, Sadly, I'm going to say no. It'll probably save my vocal cords a little bit here on Peaky Blinders podcast, but I will miss my guy, Arthur.
I think I'm with you. We won't see him. Do you think that they'll mention that he died off screen, or just say that he's like now like living in America and he's just out of the game or something?
I hope it's not that final that he died off screen, because then it's like, dude, so whatever they do after this, assuming they do something after this, he's never coming. I hope it's not that fine. I hope it's just like he's off in America playing cowboy or something, or running, trying to expand the family business and make his own mark in China or so. You know what I mean? Like something like that. I'm hoping it's more so that than like he's dead, because that would suck.
I'm with you there. There's no need to do that. If he's just not there, he can just not be there. How about Charlie and Lizzie? Any of Tommy's old family here? But I mean, at the end of 6, they were pretty much done, and that seemed that ship has sailed. Any chance any of those two show up?
Yeah, there's always a chance, but my money is not on the fact that it does. It just feels like they'd have to rehash something, or I just don't know how they would continue the story with that. It just kind of felt somewhat
It'd
fine
slow
to me.
everything down. It'd be just fan service, really.
Yeah.
It'd probably be showing up just to show up. Probably the same thing for Finn, right? I mean, he did get banished by Duke at the end of 6, and he, kind of vowed revenge. So he might be the most logical candidate if there was, something like that, or maybe Tommy would go to him to, because he has a vendetta against Duke or something. I don't know, but I guess of all of those three, maybe he has the highest probability of appearing.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't totally shock me. I mean, obviously, you know who I want. I mean, there's only one, and those scenes throughout the series were literally some of the best scenes ever. I know he's a busy man, but shit, man, can we just get Tom Hardy just for like a couple of scenes? Is it that much to ask for, Mills? Get
I
Alfie
think
in
that
there.
I have a very specific, I don't know why, but I think this popped into my head today. Like, we get Alfie, but it's in a flashback, and Duke kills him.
I hope that's not it. I hope we get him with like the rise of like the Nazi stuff. I hope we get him and he's hiding or something, and Tommy's the only one he's willing to see, and or maybe he's leading a rebel group. I don't know. I just there's a role for him here, dude. I just don't know why you wouldn't want him. He's that awesome. He's one of the I think he's if not the best Tom Hardy character, he might be he's top three in my opinion. I love Alfie.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Dude can find time to make 3 Venom movies, come on, you can show up for one more Alfie cameo, and that's one they wouldn't publicize either. So I feel like we see him one way or the other. I'm putting that at a more solid like 75%, even if it is a flashback. I feel like he would be down to do it. They've had enough time here. I think they could find a way to at least get us one Alfie scene. I think that would be pretty cool. Do you think this will be, they started out the Peaky Blinders were going to be historically accurate, and then they just kind of said, screw it, we're going to do our own thing. But for the most part, in later seasons, a lot of the political stuff tracked with, for the most part, how reality played out. You think they're going to play out World War II the same way, or could they do a little bit of like kind of Inglorious Bastards revisionist history here?
I think though I think it'll follow a general historic time frame, but I think they're going to have obviously their own. I mean, look, the characters are fictional. Unfortunately, there was no Tommy Shelby, right? But so I think they'll be loosely fictional characters, fictional plots and storylines in a accurate historical context is kind of the best way I would describe that.
So Tommy Shelby can't blow up Hitler with a train?
No, well, he could run him into the little cave that he was found in or whatever, but yeah, I don't think we're seeing that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, it would be nice to give him a shot. I mean, this is probably the real big one here. Does Tommy Shelby survive the events of the Immortal Man? Is he truly immortal?
I think he has to. You kill him off, there's really nowhere to go here. There's nowhere for this franchise to go, and it sounds like they've waited a long time to do this. There's going to be some buzz, man. I think they put a lot into this. I think it's going to be pretty good. There's no reason to kind of end it here. I think they can, do some sort of follow up here. So if they do, that means I think Peaky Blinders it's final. I don't see anything without him. So to me, I'm going to say he's got to live.
I'm gonna go with you here. I think it's kind of like Daniel Craig and James Bond. Like if he just actually was like, no, there's no way ever, 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 and like he's like, I won't do it unless you kill him because I want it off the table. So this isn't even a conversation anymore. That would be the only way, and it doesn't seem like it's that at all. So I'm with you there. And you mentioned it here. If they do continue, what would you want here? I mean, would you want to see like what Duke's been doing? You want another movie? You want another just like a season 7 of Peaky? Like, what would you want a continuation to look like?
I would love a season 7, depending on how they wrap up the plot line and the overarching story here with like the historical stuff. I mean, dude, they could take this all the way into World War and post. There's a lot they could do here. It's basically a wide blue ocean in terms of what you want to do with Tommy Shelby because of all the stuff he did previously, whether it's the gangster stuff, the family business stuff, or the political figure stuff, the gypsy stuff. It's wide open, man. Like I think that's why there's so much here. There's much more than a movie still.
I am with you there. I would personally love for them to come back and do another show. I mean, depending on how this shakes out, like you said, you got a lot of big names in here, so I don't know if a show would be feasible or it might be in this day and age. Maybe they can squeeze together 6 episodes every 2 or 3 years. It's not impossible. If the only way they can keep it going is with more movies, I would be cool with that, assuming this flick, turns out to be as good as we think it's going to be. So I think either way, though, spoiler alert, we will probably be there for it. So you don't have to worry about that. And thank you for being here for this episode of PBB, a Peaky Blinders podcast. You can find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the World Wide Web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like those flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to touch that thumb. Thanks again for checking out PBP. I am Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G, and we'll plan on seeing you again real soon.
And stick to the plan, or you'll get hit with that red right hand.
get you